So let's start with the first high engagement practice that we're going to look at, which is feedback. So evidence has shown that effective feedback is crucial in the learning process. In fact, Hattie's insightful meta-analysis on how learners learn involved over 800 meta-studies and 80 million learners from around the world. And it reinforced that some of the most effective strategies involve not only ensuring learners take ownership of the learning journey, but that they are given opportunities for frequent, authentic, contextualised, reflective and personalised feedback. So in this short video, we're going to look at the three elements of feedback, namely formative feedback, metacognition and authentic assessment, along with suggestions for implementing them into your practice. So let's start with formative assessment. It wasn't that long ago that the focus of teaching and learning was the big summative exam at the end of the term, or the end of the year, or the end of the project. However, evidence highlights that learners learn best when they receive formative assessment that is regular, contextualised and personal, as this helps them gauge and improve their performance and develop their self-regulation and ultimately improve their academic attainment. And in essence, formative feedback throughout the process of learning helps learners understand their own progress and what they need to do in order to successfully achieve the intended learning outcomes that you've set. And there are three approaches to formative assessment. You've got self-assessment, peer assessment, and educator feedback. And in the first place, learners can assess themselves if they have the appropriate tools and scaffolding to do so. So if you provide clear learning objectives and success criteria, which could be in the form of a rubric or a self-marking task, then that's the imperative first step. You can also use low-stake check for understanding quizzes with auto-generated feedback. This is another great tool that can be used repeatedly by the learner. And the great thing is you can tweak it and use it year on year with different groups of learners. And there are some great tools that can help you with this. Aula has an internal quiz option, but there's also tools like Kahoot, Poll Everywhere, Nearpod, Quizlet, Socrative, and the list goes on. You just need to search the internet. So giving students input and choice can be a great engagement strategy as they feel they have ownership of the task. So let them help with writing the criteria or indeed helping write the assessment, the formative assessment that you're doing. And another great option for helping learners continually revise their learning is peer-to-peer or working with peers and having them present, share, discuss, debate and challenge each other as they co-construct their understanding and knowledge together, using scaffolding, guiding questions or scripts from you. Even having learners peer mark deliberate errors is another engaging strategy that you can use. And you can see from some of the examples posted here, peer assessment can be done in pairs or small groups or as a whole class. And this can be a very powerful tool if implemented correctly. However, giving feedback constructively is not always immediately easy for students. And it might be a skill that takes practice and supervision and coaching to get it right. And again, there's some great tools that can help you with delivering exciting peer assessment. For example, Padlet, Flipgrid, Hypotheses, ClassFlow, Wakelet, and even Turnitin has a peer review option in it. And then if we look at educator feedback that involves you, this can be extremely powerful if it's delivered correctly. So first of all, you have to think of it being concise, because no learner wants to read paragraphs of feedback. So it should contain only 2 or 3 key action points that the learner can improve on, along with some praise for something they did well. This is sometimes called 2 stars and a wish, or a praise sandwich. And you can see here some examples of educator feedback, which is ideally your feedback should be specific to the learner. It should prove insightful ways to improve rather than a number or a percentage, because we know that as soon as they see the number or percentage, they don't read the feedback. So you can also use short video walkthroughs as feedback or audio. And you can also use the feed on Aula regularly to praise and address misconceptions. These are all quick and easy ways to reach and engage learners. Ultimately, your feedback should be linked to the learning objective as well as the summative assessment. and you should provide opportunities for students to act on your feedback. So leading on from this is the crucial ability for learners to think about thinking, which is termed metacognition. Learners need to have an awareness of their own knowledge, thinking and learning process, and you can help achieve this by providing a pre-course activity like we do in the pre-class that helps learners evaluate what they already know and identify their strengths and areas for development. Or you can create activities that ask learners how they're planning to tackle a problem or a project, which forces them to really step back and be deliberate about their approach. You can also help encourage students to capture their thought process by providing reflective questions and activities that ask them to think about which study strategies worked, which didn't, and how their knowledge has changed over time, which helps learners monitor and evaluate their own progress and success. And this can be captured through reflective journals, digital learning portfolios like Portfolium or podcasts or video diaries. And you can also model metacognitive thinking yourself by thinking aloud as you perform tasks to help show learners how you're thinking at each stage of the task or the challenge. Identifying and highlighting your mistakes along the way helps to show learners common risks and fosters a culture of safe failure. And lastly, the assessment should ideally be authentic or as realistic as possible to the tasks and the activities that the learners will perform as professionals practicing in the field. So this could be real life tasks like public speaking, professional scenarios, and even using criterion referenced assessments. So to sum up, the sort of top takeaways is provide regular, timely feedback that's specific and actionable. Give your learners a clear picture of what success looks like and give them opportunities to act on your feedback. Ensure you provide context, have clear signalling of what, why and how. Link your feedback to the learning outcomes, which can be video or audio walkthrough. Use low-stake quizzes and auto-generated feedback, and make use of social learning and facilitate peer-to-peer feedback. Use discussions to help learners articulate their own thinking process, which allows them to really evaluate their own understanding of the material. And the question is your feedback having a positive impact? So you'll find more information in the drop-down menu below and in the further reading, but also have a look at the truly engaging column in the feedback rubric below.